Hi everyone, Jackie here with Enjoying Life's Journey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to our weekly Budget With Me videos where we're budgeting out our paycheck. This happens to be the second paycheck of May 2022. We do a zero-based budget using an Excel template that I've created. If you are interested in purchasing it, it is for sale. The link is down below. But I've also recently been adjusting some of my categories to reflect a percent-based budget, which is called the 60% solution. So if you're interested in seeing how that works, let's jump on the Excel sheet. Now we do use our real household numbers with you. This is my process every single Friday. I do actually come onto my budget template more than once a week. Basically, anytime that money's coming out of the bank or we're spending money, I like to come on here because I use this as a tracker as well, and also to balance my accounts at the bank and everything like that. So I always encourage everyone to have a budget not only for the month, but also for every single paycheck, because you want to see how the cash is flowing. This has really been life-changing for us because we've been able to manage our money a little bit better by, seeing, okay, out of this paycheck, how much are we going to have towards the bills, groceries, gas, and things like that. And now we've been able to get a few weeks ahead on some of our bills as opposed to either being late or overdrafting our accounts. So it's definitely been a game changer for us. Also on these videos, I do like to share comments that you guys leave, so you are more than welcome to share comments down below, and we'll share them in next week's video. So real quick, if you're not familiar with the channel, this is my budget template. It does actually start off on the yearly tab where you budget out every single month, and then those auto-populate onto your monthly tab. Right here though, you can, on the yearly tab, you can change what your categories are called. You can change what the sources are, and those will auto-populate onto your monthly as well. We are budgeting out the 13th. So what I do is I go on my husband's pay stub. Because he has overtime, we have an irregular income. Some weeks there's overtime, some weeks there might not be overtime. And so that can also affect the taxes and things like that. So I have to go look at the pay stub and see, what's affected. So his base pay is the $30 an hour for 40 hours a week. So that's what it was. So on my template, I make this black because now I know that's the official amount. And then he did have his 10 hours of overtime, which is $45 an hour, basically time and a half. And that was $450. Now myself, I'm pretty much a stay-at-home mom, but I do make a little bit of money on YouTube, and sometimes I deliver for DoorDash or Amazon Flex, or I work, sometimes I've done seasonal jobs for the Amazon warehouses as well. So whatever I bring over from what I call my self-employment income, that is currently just being applied to our teardrop as an extra payment, trying to pay that off a little bit. So that's, we're going to see some of that coming out of next paycheck. Now my husband's not expected to have overtime like this week. I think it's the second week of the month. They're rotating with, he's in construction, so they're rotating with some of the other departments. So he's a pipe fitter. So this is their week where they're only doing 40 hours instead of the 50 hours. And then next week, it's like the plumbers get to have the break, and then the other time is sheet metal gets a break, things like that. So this next paycheck, he should not have any of the overtime. However, one day they did stay a little bit late, so he might have 2 hours of overtime, but I'm gonna leave it as none for right now. And then what I do is I basically take that income, and with a zero-based budget, you need to tell everything where to go and what to do. So with the 60% solution, the goal is that your first category is your retirement savings or investing. And the goal is to get it up to 10%. We're only going to be able to do 5% right now. Our debt is too high. So unfortunately, we're not able to reach that number yet. But for the month of May, Ricky and I agreed that basically $50 a week is going into his Roth IRA and $35 a week is going into my Roth IRA. So I make these blue because this tells me at a glance that this is money that is going to be invested or saved. It's not necessarily spent and gone, or it's not going to be in the bank account because it's going into a different account as well. Now we're doing the Roth IRAs right now because my husband is with a new employer, so we won't be able to access his 401k until probably October. So once we're able to do the 401k, we will automatically be doing 5% to the 401k and then gradually trying to add that other 5% into the Roth IRAs. So that's what we have. And then like I mentioned on the side of the budget template, I have different what I like to call accounts, so I can balance my accounts. And I actually did have a question, so let's go to the comments from last week real quick. So thank you again for everyone who left a comment last week. It is always encouraging, and it helps me to know that you guys are getting something out of these videos. It does make me feel like we're part of a community. So thank you everyone who took the time to leave a comment. So I want to start with Joanne. So thank you so much. She did leave a super thanks. So I mentioned this last week that YouTube has given my channel access to this super thanks here, and it's just a way that you can support the channel if you want to support in a monetary way. And I did mention that if you wanted to designate what the money is for, then that's what I would be applying it for. So Joanne did donate she did do a super thanks for $9.99, and she does mention on here that it's for the girls. So thank you, Joanne. We are definitely going to be, we'll get paid that next month. So I've already put in the budget for next month that each of my girls will have $5 added to their savings. And we'll probably use that for back to school stuff. We'll see what happens. But her question here, so she says, it's so fun to hear you talk about the 60% solution and see you reworking your budget. Good job. Question, do you keep all of your accounts at one bank? Trying to figure out how to set ours up. Thanks. So these accounts that I've named, income, necessities, emergency fund, savings, and our girls fund, these are all accounts at one bank. We bank with Ally Bank, ALLY, and that's an online bank. So the first time I signed up with them because their savings rates were really high. It was like 2%, but obviously with the pandemic, everything's gone down. So it went down to 0.5%, but I just got an email the other day that's going back up to 0.6%. So our emergency fund, this savings account, and our girls fund, these are all actual savings accounts. My income account I'm able to nickname them at my bank. This is a checking account, and my necessities is a checking account. Now with Ally Bank, it doesn't cost anything to have accounts. You don't have to have minimum balances in any of these accounts. That's another reason I like banking with them. So a lot of times, this income account is going to be a 0, because what happens is our direct deposit goes into the income account, and then I transfer that money into either a savings account, whether it's the emergency fund, whether it's the girls savings, whether it's our sinking fund savings account, which are different savings for different things, or if it goes into the necessities. Now the necessities checking account is for where all the bills that automatically come out, they come out of this account. So my husband and I know if there's any money in this necessities account, it is not to be spent because it's already for a bill. So you can, with an online bank like that one, you're able to have multiple accounts. You can nickname them whatever you want, and you don't have to have a minimum balance, and it doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, I bank at one bank, but we do have several accounts within that bank. This investments, these are all of our different investments. So these are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different accounts with different investment places. So we have I have my cryptocurrency, which is currently in my Coinbase crypto wallet. I have Robinhood. I have 2 different Roth IRAs. So I have a Fidelity Roth and a Vanguard Roth. And then we just recently opened a Fidelity Roth for Ricky. And then we have Ricky's 401k. Those are different investment vehicles. But yeah, thanks for the question. And thanks for the super thanks. So moving on down the budget. Your second category would be your long-term savings or your debt payoff. And again, the goal is 10%. We're only doing 3% because we're only bringing over, like I said, we're only currently utilizing what I'm bringing over from my self-employment. The last 2 months, we really focused on building up 1 month of an emergency fund. So now we have that emergency fund in place. So we're going to start trying to pay off the debt and try to get into these percentages, and we'll see how that plays out. So the idea now is that the third area is your committed monthly expenses. These are going to be necessities and possibly non-necessities, but they're things that you've committed to for every single month. And the goal is to get this down to 60% or lower. And this way you're living below your means and you're able to save, invest, and have some fun, which is later down the budget. But in this 60%, you are including your taxes and health insurance deductions as part of that 60%, because all of these percents that you're doing are before taxes, okay? So this would be 10% before taxes, 10% before taxes, 60% before taxes, and then you calculate your taxes in there. And then down on the bottom here, we have our short-term savings or any yearly bills like car registration or maybe some irregular bills. So I have now here like household maintenance projects, household items, personal care items, giving, vacations, these type of things that maybe you want to save up for a little bit, but they're going to be spent more frequently. And again, it's 10% is the goal. This month we are doing 12%, just because we are still trying to finish out one of our house projects. And we had to do the truck registration. And then the fun category, same thing. The goal is 10%, but we're only going to be able to do 5% because, like I mentioned, our committed expenses because of our debt right now is too high. We're at 75%. So the goal is to get this down to 60%. So as we work our budget, we come down here. I looked on my husband's pay stubs, and the taxes were the same and the deductions were the same as last pay stub, with the exception of Social Security. It was 1 penny less. So I make this black because this money is gone. It comes out of his paycheck automatically, and we do not see this amount in the bank account. As I'm coming through the budget and money is going to be in the bank account from that paycheck, I do line it up in my income checking account, because when the direct deposit hits the bank, then I know what is it for. Is it going to be transferred to savings? So for instance, we're going to be finishing out the rest of our mortgage payment, which is $1,028.25. We already have $407 in the savings account. This is for June 1st mortgage payment. So we're going to be able to finish our full mortgage payment, which is $1,435. That is our mortgage, which includes the principal and the interest. That's our property taxes and our homeowner's insurance. So that's all of those combined. And so we're gonna be able to finish that out and make this blue. And I've already put that in my income account. So like I mentioned, as the money is deposited, I know I'm gonna transfer that $1,028, and that's gonna be transferred to the savings account until this 27th, and then I'll pull it out to be for the automatic payment. And the only reason I do that is because I'm trying to earn as much interest on that bank account as I can. The next area of our budget that's budgeted out every single week is the groceries and the tourist food. So as you guys all probably know, inflation is happening. So our eggs were insane. I was buying just 12 eggs at a time because the price of the eggs went up so much. We normally buy the 60 case eggs at Walmart, and in the past I've been able to get them for like $7, and then recently they've been like $15, like double the price. And then this week when I went shopping, they were down to $13. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get it because I guess I'm stuck paying this right now. So I did divide that up between the other two paychecks because I won't have to buy eggs on those paychecks. So I lowered that down. So this week we spent $136.20 at the store. 8 of that was to continue to help stock up the pantry a little bit. And then like I mentioned, I lowered these to 94. I have a feeling I'm going to have to raise them back up though, because this stuff is crazy. But anyway, so I'm going to make this orange because this money will be in the bank, and it will be in there until I make the payment. So when I go to the grocery store, we use our Discover It credit card. If we go to the gas station, we use our Discover It credit card. If we're purchasing personal care items, household items, we use the credit card. And then every week, every Friday when the money hits the bank and I know how much we've spent, I know how much we have out of the paycheck, I go onto the Discover card and I manually make that payment. That's the only bill I have that's not set up automatically because I pay it off every week. We're gonna leave the gas at $90. We still have money left from last week, but I didn't fill up my tank, so I need to fill up my tank today. So I have a feeling we might still have a little bit of money left, but if we do, that will just go down to the project area because we're still working on our project. We're gonna have to use $24.84 for personal care items. So I ended up doing, oh gosh, I can't think. I ended up getting deodorant for everybody, And then Ricky got me Mother's Day flowers. I don't know if you can see them back here. So this is part of giving and personal care, so we're going to pay that off. And then that leaves our fun. For this week, we're only going to have $10.21 for the beer and wine for the house. I still have a bottle of wine, so I won't need to buy anything. So Ricky, you might have to just get some tall cans. I don't know. And this happens to be a long weekend for him because they have the extra. They're going to have Friday off. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But basically, I've told everything where to go. I have a 0 at the bottom. But let's take a look at some more comments real quick. All right, Sharon, thank you for commenting. She says, as always, great job making your money stretch. She asks, are you still working as a travel agent as well? Great question. And no, I'm not. So I still have my LLC, my business license for my travel thing, and I'm actually still part of my host agency. But when the pandemic hit, everything just stopped. So at the time when the pandemic hit, I was teaching Zumba, and I had a few group cruises booked. And I wasn't really booking random people. It was just people that were going on group cruises with me and my family. But then when the pandemic hit, everything stopped. I got laid off from my job through an email immediately. And then I had half of the people in the group cruise just say cancel it. And they got their money back. Some of them canceled it and they just wanted the cruise credit. And then 2 of us pushed our cruise to the following year, which we then ended up canceling. So I haven't even been working with anyone because I'm not traveling. We have done a few travel things, but it's nothing that you need a travel agent for, renting Airbnbs, renting a houseboat at the lake, those type of things. But yeah, so I'm not really, technically, no, I'm not doing the travel agency stuff. Lisa, thank you for commenting. She says, so last week I mentioned that Ricky and I were finally back on it doing the budget meetings and how important it is to be on the same page and kind of, work with each other on the goals. Because, Ricky and I have different views on our money, and they always say that finances can be one of the #1 reasons that people struggle in relationships. So it was really nice to get back on a meeting with him. So Lisa said, great job to get Ricky involved. I had my first budget meeting with my hubby last week. Good luck with your application for the job at the school. Also, I mentioned because I am a stay-at-home mom, my #1 priority is running the house, taking care of my kids, being there for Ricky and my kids at a drop of a hat. That's what I really do enjoy about this. So I've been really focusing on just being a better homemaker, really implementing my Fly Lady systems, meal prepping, actually cooking at home every night. But I did apply to do the crossing guard at the school for next school year because it would only be, maybe an hour or 2 in the morning, an hour or 2 in the afternoon. I'm at their school every morning and afternoon anyways to take them to school. So why not get paid a little bit and get my steps in walking on the crosswalk? So fingers crossed. I haven't heard anything back yet. I applied a week ago. Easy $700 day online says, he does a quote, anonymous quote, no masterpiece was ever created by a lazy artist. So thank you so much for sharing your quote. If you want to share another one, that would be lovely. Mech, is that how you say it? Mech E11B. I hope I'm saying that right. So I was talking about the crossing guard position. Hadn't heard anything yet, and he said, "It's the government. They move at the speed of molasses. Expect a couple of weeks before an interview." So thank you. I'll wait patiently. And then Jillian says, "I am also the person in the family that enjoys budgeting. We haven't had a budget meeting in a long time either, so it's a good reminder that we should sit down and go over our budget together." So again, thank you guys so much for leaving a comment. If you leave a comment in today's video, it's shared next week. And like I mentioned, if you want to support the channel, you can purchase my budget template on Etsy, or you can shop using my Amazon affiliate link, or if you want to support monetarily, you can always super thanks on your comments. So that's the budget. Now what I do is I go on my bank account and I transfer stuff to where it needs to go. So for instance, if it's anything that's going to be spent, like I mentioned, like the grocery money, the gas money, that stuff's going to get moved over to the necessities so I can pay the credit card when I need to. This $1,000 will be moved to savings, will be added to this $407. So now the mortgage payment is ready to go for the 1st of June. And then the $35 is automatically, so these I'm actually moving to the necessities account because these will automatically be transferred into our Roth IRAs on Monday. But yeah, you guys, thank you guys so much for joining me every Friday. I really hope that these videos help you in some way. And it does encourage me to keep sharing them with you, especially when you're down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.